Welcome mates, I'm Bloodthirsty Lord, but you can call me Lordy, and today we're back on Paragon. Once again, there should be some gameplay of Twin Blast in the background, so hopefully you guys are enjoying that as we talk about the topics of today, which are decks and affinities and how are they changing in version 42, because pretty much you're able to choose your affinities and use them in a certain way for your decks and on your heroes. So it's really interesting, and I want to break this down as quick as possible so your mates are up to date with the info before it does come live on August 8th.
We're here. Let's go. I'm ready.
So those are the topics. We got a lot of juicy information to cover within this video. But before we get this video, make sure you smash that blatant like button. Let's try to get 200 likes on this video. So without further ado, let's get straight into this. Mates, everything that you do know about the deck building system and also the affinities within Paragon, pretty much chuck half of that out. That knowledge does not mean anything once we enter version 42, because there's a lot of changes that will be happening, and these changes were announced in the Paragon Community Corner video that happened today, and some of my mates told me to talk about this on the channel, so why not? And obviously we have a Paragon news channel, so we always try to bring that news as quick as possible to the channel for you guys to enjoy. So let's firstly step into the affinity sides of things in version 42. Pretty much the affinities have gained and reworked, and they've changed slightly. Pretty much some of the knowledge that you still need is still there from version 41, but obviously will be passed on into version 42, and some of it's gone. Like your heroes that you've chosen in version 41 will have selected affinities, usually 2 affinities that are different affinities, and they provide different factors and cards within your deck that you can use. In version 42, you can choose any hero in the game and put any affinity on that hero. That is how amazing it is. And this leads to so many branches on the tree on building decks in your way. You can make so many things, it's unbelievable with the hero that you main. Because I main Kalari and have so many different decks. Some of them I really haven't spoken about because I always keep it pretty much secret with some of my builds. I have like this amazing build that is so good, but no one knows about it in the version 41, and I think in version 42 I can enhance that factor, make it really OP. So I can't wait to do that, and obviously use that hero in a different way that many people wouldn't expect. That still leads to the outcome of me winning, because I selected 2 affinities that provide me with a certain factor on my character that was able to build around with those cards in my deck and use that on my character. I pretty much had like a little Craigasm just then, so I'm going to try and make this as easy as possible to understand. So if you play Rictor and you have your certain affinities on Rictor, which will usually make you a tanky, supportive, utility character, but you can also change those affinities in a certain way to make you do more damage. You can choose 2 affinities in version 42, like Chaos, which is pretty much Fury, and also your second affinity, which is Death, pretty much Corruption in version 41. That's what they renamed it to. If you have those 2 combinations with your affinities on your selected hero Rictor, you'll be able to pump out amazing amounts of damage when playing Rictor, due to the fact that these 2 affinities have selected cards that do provide a lot of damage, or pretty much attack speed, or pretty much stats that you wouldn't get in their normal affinities connected to Rictor in version 41. So this is what leads to pretty much opening a new door on every character. New builds will be made, and insane builds, and obviously many builds, because right now in version 41, there's like that one deck on every hero that every player uses on Greystone or Morogesh, which has pretty much become universal, and every player in the world is using the same deck, which is kind of annoying because it leads to less variety within the deck building system and within your own builds that you have created or pretty much copied from other YouTubers. Obviously, when people make build and guide videos, that's a different thing because you try and educate and teach players how to use a certain build and deck in their gameplay, but also it leaves you to a chance to change that build. But in version 42, you can still use those ideas and adapt them in your certain way depending on what affinities you've chosen. So this is really crazy. It leads to a whole new way of doing everything in Paragon when it comes to the deck builder. And pretty much that leads into the second topic, the deck building system. It's changed completely. There's a lot of things happening there with the affinities, because obviously you can choose certain affinities which will provide you with different cards, and obviously those cards will help you in a different way depending on the card effects and stats within those version 42 card affinities. Usually if you want to build your hero that you've selected more tanky, you'll go with Order and Growth, because those affinities do provide with sustain, durability, and pretty much tanky utility. That's with shields and stuff like that. It keeps you alive a lot longer compared to using affinities like Chaos and Death on your character. And sometimes you mates make that amazing deck that you want to use on every character, especially if you made a certain role, like if you're a marksman player or jungler and you have a set of junglers that you do enjoy playing, but you've only made one build. You have the chance now to make that build universal to the other heroes as well. So if I make a build that's usually designed for Grux, but it's pretty much a very good build and it works on any hero that is classified as a fighter jungler, you can pretty much activate a certain setting that you'll be able to use that build on another hero. So that deck on another hero. So if I have the desire to play Rampage or Rework instead of playing Grux, because I want to use Grux's build on those characters with those affinities, I can do so. Instead of having to go through the whole deck building system and build a deck pretty much like an exact copy as the other build from other hero. This pretty much leads to less restriction on your character or pretty much your builds, and also saving time when making builds. Obviously making decks is a very fun aspect of Paragon, but I feel like it's been so focused on that it makes new players really annoyed by that factor, because everyone that is a part of the Paragon community at this very moment understands that the Paragon building system has a massive learning curve, especially if you're new to the game, because many games don't have this same feel or experience, especially within a MOBA. So that's what makes Paragon unique, by having this ability to make decks and use them in your gameplays. It's really nice. I love that factor. But for new players, it really makes it discouraging for them, because they have to make 10 builds and obviously use selected heroes, and sometimes they make multiple builds for the same hero, and they have to keep learning and pretty much changing stuff because they couldn't counter 60 CP. But in version 42, it should make things easier overall for new players when they come to the game. So that's really great. It makes it less discouraging for them, and obviously makes them focus on their character and understand the skills and abilities and kits of their character without putting a full emphasis on deck building, because obviously building a certain deck on your hero means something, but building a deck in your own way without any restrictions or pretty much counting numbers non-stop until you get that 60 CP build at the very end means a lot to a new player, because in version 42 they can just chuck a whole bunch of cards and test things while playing, and if they don't like that certain card they can just disregard it and pretty much move on to the next card within their build. And some of you mates are thinking that if they want to test their build they can go into a solo versus AI. True, they could. But majority of players don't really go that way. They would usually jump into a PvP game and test their build there against real players, which kind of makes sense, and then obviously does make sense at the same time, because if your build doesn't reach its full amount and then you're missing some cards, it's kind of annoying in version 41. But in version 42 there's less restrictions, you're able to do more within your builds, and it means so much more to the player. That makes sense, because obviously with unlimited CP, and depending on how long that game goes, you would never reach your full potential or your full end game build. Even though some of the game heroes, like the late game heroes, will scale better compared to early game heroes, just because of the unlimited CP and not having a 60 cap on your CP, they can obviously put more upgrades, more damage things, and obviously do more damage per second. Kind of makes sense. But then when it comes to other stats you can actually use, I think the other stats will be more promising, due to the fact that upgrades are still in the game. Upgrades are not going. Some of you mates said those cards with a level number onto those cards mean that they've upgraded in a certain way. No, that does not mean that. You can also use upgrades within your deck still. So pretty much this makes a very interesting interaction with the deck building system, because every card has a certain upgrade bonus or pretty much upgrades that you can put onto it depending on the stats that are available for that card. So imagine the card Admin Edge. It does provide a stat of power and also a stat of health, giving you the choice to choose which stat you want to upgrade on your character and also on that card. So you can choose the power or pretty much the health. If you choose power, you have upgrade bonuses of 3 CP max, so pretty much the major strikes or major casts, you can use those upgrades to gain your power. But when it comes to the health side, you can use a 5 CP upgrade on your card, meaning that you can get 15 CP upgrade worth out of a card when building health stats on that card, and also depending on what the card is, the CP will be even increased more if the card initially costs a lot more. But then when you move on to the power side, you can only get 9 points of CP of damage or power. That is interesting. That is why pretty much the time to kill damage builds that happen in the current meta will start to slowly go down and disappear, but obviously they'll still be there in some type of way. But other builds of tankiness or health, also utility, mana, and those type of cards that benefit from that will be used more often than pretty much building the generic time to kill build on your character that does a whole bunch of damage and also kills the enemy within a couple seconds. Because if you do encounter an enemy that just has health armor and energy armor upgrades, or pretty much basic and ability armor upgrades, what can you do towards that enemy? Pretty much is able to nullify any type of damage that you put out, even though your build is being orientated on doing as much damage as possible. The enemy player that has used more CP within their build on certain stats, like health and tankiness, will have more of effectiveness within the gameplay compared to you, because you'll be capped at some type of moment depending on what upgrades you've chosen on your character if you go with the power builds. Overall, this is very interesting and it's going to change up the game in version 42. The meta will shift in a massive way. So be ready for that, mates, and obviously I'm going to try my best to keep you guys up to date. Obviously within this video we explain some points and also pretty much go into the mind of Lordy and pretty much what I'm thinking about when these factors are added to the game. So that's really interesting. I had a fun time making this video, and if we do gain any more intel about these topics or any topics when it comes down to the Paragon news, expect it here first, because we're always trying our best to bring the news as quick as possible to you guys, so you're never left in the dark no matter what time it is, morning, day or night. We're here, we're bringing the news to you guys and pretty much giving that juicy info all the time. But mates, as always, tell me your thoughts and your opinions in the comment section down below about these topics. What are you thinking about them? Do you like these changes happening to version 42 with the affinities and the deck building system? Personally, I can't wait for this to happen, because I've been waiting for something like this to change up the game for such a long time, and this is what Paragon needs. Even though some people will say no, it's better with the restrictions, I think this is a lot more better, and it's going to lead to some very amazing builds being created all over the world with each single hero within the Paragon experience. And I can't wait to see you may start tweeting me like crazy builds on your hero that work really well, and I can't wait for that. That is my opinion on it. Tell me your thoughts and your opinions in the comment section down below. So guys, if you did enjoy this video, show us by smashing that bloody like button. Let's try to get 200 likes on this video. And if you guys want to see more Paragon gaming content in general, and videos just by me on my channel, always, all you have to do is share this with your friends and hit the subscribe button to become a mate today. And that is all for this video. Over time to go, but don't you worry. We're back very soon. Hey Jazz boys, because you ain't seen nothing yet. Mates, you know what this means. In version 42, get ready to press delete on every single build you have, because most likely, it's going to be irrelevant and useless. Well, this is going to be fun time.